What did we do? Take two. Sorry, just a little fussy mic cable thing.
We rehearsed all this too. That's
Yeah.
what's the killer.
And it's crazy because we had it all set up nice. We thought everything was perfect. We double checked everything, and then a mic went out on us. So you never know. It's just the way it goes. It's then, Monday night. Remember why you're here. You can watch things.
The look of Mother Monday just came and just kicked right over.
Yeah, you get to watch everything just mess up on our end, and we deal with it, and you guys just laugh and have a good time. All right, so we started with, this is episode 9. Can you believe it?
Woo! Yeah!
So that's what you guys probably missed, or it was choppy, but okay. So we're stoked to be back again with episode 9. I'm going to be obviously finishing up this, oh God, beast. This beastie mask here for you guys. And what else? We got a lot to talk about. Monsterpalooza was on my brain. I think I mentioned to you guys last time. I will be at Monsterpalooza on Friday evening. If any of you guys want to say hi, just what's up, whatever. I'd love to meet up with people from the stream. Just say hi, talk shop, whatever. I'll be there roaming around with my lovely family. You can see who they are. And my wife just looked at me. Not in a really good way, no. And I'm going to have a few pieces on display in the gallery, the museum. So you guys can check out some eye candy if you'd like to. It'll be there. There's going to be tons of eye candy at Monsterpalooza, of course. But, if you go in the museum, I'll have a few pieces on display. What else? Tonight we're going to be focusing on the eye again. So you get another eye demo, basically. Some teeth, a little bit more on the skin, and wrap up. So we're going to try and wrap this bad boy up. So to start off tonight, like we always do, I'm going to turn it over to our good friend Ryan and have him say hi to everybody. And let's just see who's with us right now. Ryan, take it away, buddy.
All right, sounds great. We've got 36 watching right now, and I think everyone's starting to get the drill that we really appreciate you all being here. You all make the show. Casey doing his magic is certainly something that we all learn from, but you folks providing awesome questions, the banter, the vibes, the good times on the Facebook group, it's just really magical watching that thing explode. So starting from the tippy top, we've got Collier Wilms, we've got Ben Hernandez. The name's so nice, he named it twice. George. We have David Felchek, Paula Matney, Mr. Kevin Young, Ryan McGrudon, the awesomely talented John Eubank, Creative Mutation, Matt McNeil, Matt Cable. I'm going to butcher this one, sorry. Trelazer Art. That's a cool name.
There you go.
Jason Oddie, which I'm sorry, Jason, I butcher and change your last name every single time. John Harris. Travis Milton, Andrew Valentine.
I'm going to get cranking away. I was saying thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. Can't do these streams without you guys. You guys are what make it happen. So, like I've always said, I'm just here messing around with monsters. And you guys are the ones that make it grow, and we appreciate that tremendously. And I know Ryan already said that, so I'm going to move on. And we're going to get right back into things here. First off, I want to talk about his additions. So he's got tusks that I've put in, as you guys probably noticed. These guys are made of material called Super Sculpey, actually Primo Sculpey Translucent. And it comes in a translucent white, kind of translucent off-white kind of tone, little packages that you can buy at craft stores and stuff like that, art stores, But when you buy this stuff, make sure you check it, make sure it's still fresh, because a lot of times it's way too hard and old. If it's been sitting on the shelf too long, it goes bad pretty quickly. So you want fresh stuff. And it's kind of a stiff, bubblegummy clay, and I just molded it with my fingers, just make a cone shape and then shape the tooth with my fingers. I don't use any sculpture tools at all, just straight fingers. And once I have the shape where I want it and the fit, kind of fit it, then I just bake it on, use a piece of tin foil, to lay the teeth on or something carefully, or make a little tinfoil tray, and then I use a heat gun, like an 800-degree heat gun or whatever. You can bake it in your oven if you want at 275, but I just do it with a heat gun really quick. Takes a few minutes, get them nice and hot. Just make sure you don't burn them. Get too close with a heat gun, you'll burn it. And after they cool down, then I just super glue them in. So I just use a little bit of super glue in the back of the tooth and carefully insert the tooth where it goes, and voila, that's where we're at now with this. So what I will do is, and the super glue bites into the latex really well, actually. You don't even need kicker. It sets quick. So what I've done is put those in, and I obviously need to base coat them to match the rest of the teeth, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, that's where we're at. So one thing we didn't get to last time around was I put in some of these little zit marks on his skin. I was going to show you guys a little something with that. So let's do that really quick, just as a quick opening step here. So I was saying you can mix like a creamy yellow white. So I just use white and some Indian yellow here, and just yellow out that white, so it kind of has a nasty ivory tone to it. And what I've done is now I've airbrushed it, but it's it's such a tiny, these are such tiny dots that it's a little tricky to airbrush. So I was going to show you guys a simpler way to achieve the same effect. And what I've done is I've taken not a Q-tip, oh my gosh, what am I talking about? A toothpick. So as you see, these little tiny, just tiny little dots in the center of the red will give you something that looks like acne, like he's got acne or a zit. There's a bigger one here. We could airbrush that one. But anyway, you get the idea. I just used the blunt end of this toothpick that I sanded down, and then take this off-white color and pop it in the center. If you want to brighten it up a little bit, you can go back over it again. And then you have what looks like acne on the skin. There doesn't even need to be a bump there. I mean, I just sprayed a red dot, and there you go. Because he's maybe a teenage Cyclops, which is like, 200 years old. All right, so that's that. Now I got to try to remember what color I mixed up for my teeth. I think I remember. It might have been these. I think. Let's see. We will try. Let me see what we got here. Pale flesh. Okay. So now what we want to do is base coat the teeth. Well, you guys want to watch. I want to base coat the teeth. So here we go. Now that color. So I used some flesh. I used some white, if I recall correctly. And I think I used this off-white color here. I don't know. We'll find out. So what I'm doing is mixing some paint to base coat the tusks. And we basically just need to get them, fairly close to what I had originally. They don't have to be perfect, because once we stain and add all the stains and all that, I mean, it's going to be pretty close enough. All right, I think that's about right. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so if the mic drops out, guys, apologies. We're working on it as best we can. Sorry, hate to have things going wrong, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But we'll keep working at it. So now I'm just going to base coat these tusks, just to kind of match up with the rest of the teeth. I'll just use a brush. so let's see here. Get these, you know, closely matched up to the other teeth. Then we'll let the paint dry a little bit. By the way, guys, can they hear me right now? Okay, we don't know what's going on with the microphone issue. Sorry about that. It just keeps dropping out after a few minutes. So we have no clue why it's doing that. It wasn't happening on any of the other streams, so it's a mystery at this point. Okay. So bear with us, and we'll try and get everything fixed. Or Sam will be unplugging and plugging the microphone in 100 times tonight.
I'll do what I can.
Oh.
Worst comes to worst, I'll bring my own mic.
Yeah. We should get one of those Shure mics. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting the teeth all done up. Looking good. There we go. There we go. Tusks are base coated. Just looking for anything else on these other teeth. And then I think we'll be good. Let me move this into a different position. All right. So there you have it. Teeth are pretty well matched up. I mean, they're a little more yellow than because of the color of the material, but that's okay. It's fine. Once I get the stains on, you won't really know. All right. Good enough, I think. So now I'm going to attack and finish off these lips. Basically, you're just going to attack one area at a time. I'll try carefully not to get any overspray on the teeth. You know, and go from there. How we doing, Ryan? Good?
Yeah, it looks like the audio was waffling there for a smidgen, but it's holding strong. I just let everyone know that Casey's going to monster muscle through this session, and Sam the Cam Man is checking all the audio gear, not once but twice.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sucks. Hate when things go wrong, but that's the life of YouTube videos, especially live streams. All right, so now what I've done. Sorry, I haven't told you guys what I'm doing. Now I'm just taking a sepia brown and black and mixing a little bit of those together and putting a little water and alcohol. And what I'm going to do with this color is just darken some stuff down between the teeth and whatnot. So here we go. This is just going to be like a dark shading color. I wonder if it's something that we had to restart to get it to knock it off. I don't know. Alright. So now I'm gonna get up under, I gotta turn him or lay him back a little bit. So I gotta get up under here. So we can force the shadow here a little bit. basically just forcing a shadow so that everything looks really deep and inside the mouth, and pushing the teeth between the teeth back a little bit. All right, so that's a little better. Let's see if I can get this weird angle here. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's pretty much it for that color at the moment. This is a nice freckle color, by the way, or not freckle, but you could put like little dark. If you wanted to go back with this color and darken some little peppercorn guys here and there, you could do that with this. A nice dark tone. As you guys recall, last time we did the last step was the sponging, which broke everything up and kind of sunk everything down in the skin nicely. So now these will sit on top and look like they're really on top of the skin. Kind of a topical thing. You know, I don't want to overdo it too much with spotty stuff, but it looks nice. All right, so there we go. I'm going to clean that color out. So I just used some water, a little bit of alcohol, clean out the airbrush, you know, flush it out, get the color out of there as best as you can. By the way, guys, if you haven't seen, I have a in-person class coming up. We still good on audio, right? Okay. So I have an in-person class coming up. I'm advertising now. You can check my Instagram or go to my website to in-person classes. My website is caseylovemonsters.com. Go to in-person classes if you want to sign up. If you live in California and you're interested in taking a class with me, we are okay, sorry, we keep having to adjust the mic. So I'm doing an in-person class coming up in June 25th. And, you know, there's only 10 students. It's the first, can only fit 10 students in my studio. It's the first in-person class since COVID, so it's been 2.5 years. And, yeah, we got that happening. If you guys want to sign up, we're doing a vampire versus werewolf bus, which I'll bring on and show you guys a little bit later what those look like, because I just started the vampire sculpt. So you'll get those busts, and then you'll get 20 colors of paint from my Casey Love paint line, and we will sit here all day long and paint monsters. It's going to be pretty rad. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up over at caseylovemonsters.com, in-person classes. All right, enough about that. I got to focus. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to pick some red. I was kind of jumping ahead in my mind while I was trying to talk to you guys. Okay, red. Mix a little purple into that. So I'm just mixing up a kind of nice violet tone here. And I'm going to use water, alcohol, And what I'm going to use this color for is just to kind of enhance that lip a little bit, the upper and lower lip. Still not 100% happy with some of this. And you know what? I'm going to add a little color to it because I want to go a little deeper with it. So I think we'll add some Payne's Gray Blue, which should darken the heck out of that. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go in here and enhance some of this. Hey Ryan, how we doing on everybody? You good? Hopefully they're not.
I think folks are muscling through, Casey. I think, we've got some real champs in the audience here that's helped us out. We're sitting at a 50 user base watching concurrently right now. And how we doing on it? And audio so far since the last tweet there is holding strong.
All right, cool. Yeah, tell them thanks for sticking with us and holding out. We're doing our best on this end, you know, and we will keep going. We're not gonna stop here till we're done.
That's the monster muscle right there. That's what that
monster muscle. Muscle through. All right, appreciate you keeping them updated on while we're having all these technical issues with the mic. I have no clue why it's doing that. If there's any YouTubers watching that know their stuff, maybe they know or they can help us. I don't know. It's fun to, you know, paint other masks too besides my own. I've always painting my own, so it's fun to get an opportunity to paint somebody else's work. It's something I did a lot back in my early career days, but I don't do anymore really too much. You know, it's very rare that I ever paint another artist's mask, but it's always fun to bring life to those things. And so I'm just modeling, you know, as you guys are watching. I'm just modeling some extra stuff in the ears and the lips, and you know, darkening up those lips a little bit. And I talked to you guys last week. Well, not everybody was here, but you know, I showed a tip on modeling and how to do that properly. You know, to make it look more natural and like skin. So hopefully you guys remember that. That was a good tip. I always share those in the classes that I teach, you know, try to help people get it down, because a lot of people teach that I've seen, well, you know, not everybody, but a lot of people I've seen teach it in a weird way. It's kind of a wrong way, you know, where it's more about noodles and things, and modeling shouldn't look like a bunch of noodles on the skin. It should look like skin. So it's important to get that right. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to go in and just sort of darken some things down here, and got this nice dark purple tone in here, this red, purple, violet. It's a very deep color. Get that in there. Just pushing shadows, pushing things around, you know. Bring him to life. Looking cool. There's our Cyclops noises. I mean, it's, you know, even after all the steps you guys saw me do last week, you can still push things, you know, push, push, push. Just little bits of soft airbrushing here and there can make a huge difference. And that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, so I think I'm happy with that for the time being. It's looking cool. Maybe a touch more in the deeper recesses of the mouth, and then I think we're good. Okay, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to get rid of this color, say goodbye to you for now, dark purple. Loved you while you were with us. No.
Right. Have to be gone.
Yeah, but you're gone now. Bye. All right, here we go. I'm cleaning out a brush, and I'm getting ready to show you guys some fun teeth stuff here. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get this guy kind of where I want him. All right, so I'm going to start with a stain. And we'll do a little jumping back and forth because I do have to let this color dry in between. So I'll do the stain on the teeth first. It's the first step. I'm going to start with this Citadel Seraphim Sepia shade here. So I'm starting with this lovely color, right? And a brush. And I'm just going to stain these teeth. That's the first step I'm going to do, is stain the teeth. Make them all gross and stuff like that, you know? There we go. Blah. So that's step one. Just get the stain on there. Let it flow into all the nooks and crannies. And then what I'll do is let it dry. So while that's drying, we can jump over to the eyeball and start basing out some of that. And then we'll come back and do the rest of the teeth. But this is step one. Let's get this stain on the tuskies. This mask did not come with tusks. I added them in. It's a customization, little customizing on the mask. John obviously did not intend it to have tusks, but I just looked at it and said, you know what? It'd be cool if he had tusks. So I threw him in there. Now he does. Blah. Be cool if he had a nose ring. All right. So, okay, now that I've got those teeth nice and stained with the first layer, now I can move on while that paint is drying, which it should dry pretty quick. I'm going to base coat the eye. So we'll do a little jumping back and forth. Okay. I think I'm just going to do my standard blue eye on this again. And so we'll start with Payne's Gray. So we'll base coat it. I think we'll just go straight ahead. All right. It's cool. It's cool. Now he's looking at us. Coming to life. So what that color was just FW Payne's Gray, which is like almost a black. Kind of looks black, probably on the video, but it's kind of a blue, really deep black blue color. There we go. So that's step one. And you know, I'm kind of curious. I wonder if I just lighten this up, what it would look like. I don't think I've tried this before. If I lighten the Payne's Gray. Well, actually, let me add white first. In fact, I have a couple white here. I was starting. So I have some white. Let me add some white. What happens if I just add some of this? That's kind of nice. We get like a nice gray. It's not too blue. I don't like that. I think we'll go with something. I'm going to go a little deeper on the color. Because I can always lighten the color with white. Alright, let's see what we got here. Make sure the eye is dry. I'm just going to use my airbrush without pulling back on the trigger just to let air out. And it's going to kind of dry the paint on the eye a little bit for us. It looks like our teeth stain is already dry. That's good. So we can bounce back to the teeth a little bit. So I'm just blowing air on this eye just to get it, you know, dry. Alright, so now I've mixed up this gray tone. Let's go into here. And let's start bringing this eye color out a little bit. So I just work in a circular pattern out to the edge. Just go nice and slow. If you rush on this step, you'll definitely make a mistake. You just want a little bit of that edge, the dark edge showing. Kind of like that. Now we've got that. The thing to do next is we're going to lighten up some of this color in a new cup here. And we're going to go a little lighter. Add some white. I'm going to go a little lighter, actually. Lighten this up a little bit more. Get this, so we have a nice, a little bit lighter shade. So what I'm going to do now is go and kind of lighten the underside here, like give it a highlight. Basically a half moon shape. I'll probably punch it a little bit hotter than that too. But let me first get in the pupil. But I already know I'm going to go hotter with that, so I'm going to add a little more white to it. And then I'll put the pupil in real quick, which is going to give me kind of a landmark. I put it in just kind of as a landmark to begin with, and then I can always go back and adjust it if I need to. Of course, that's going to be black. So I'm going to use some FW black. Okay. And this is where you got to be all really careful and spray a nice circle. Be as careful as you can. Helps when the paint comes out. It started to, and then I pulled away. All right, come on. Whoa, whoa. I was off center there. All right. So I'll use that as a landmark. I'm not going to go with too big of a pupil because it'll look too friendly if I do that. So let's go with that for now. That'll be our gauge. And now I'm going to go back and lighten up that underneath highlight again. Hey, is it going through that? Is it going through that USB adapter? I mean, the little one. It's not going through that? Okay, because I was going to say, that might be messing with us, but no. It's not. That's right. It's going directly in.
You have another XLR kit?
You mean this?
Yeah.
No.
No?
That's
okay. What I've been doing is I'm just kind of like measuring it, and if I hear it kind of sputter, I just cut the audio.
All right. Okay. So, okay, I didn't bring my trash can with me today. All right. So we've got that cleared out. Now I'm going to mix up, like I was saying, this kind of white tone here. White gray tone, sorry. Lighter version of. So I went lighter and now lighter again. Just keep pushing a little white in there. And now I'm going to come in and pop this highlight. Okay, so what I've done is just add more highlight to it, just keep whitening that color, that Payne's gray color, until get a little bit of highlight in there, get a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to do the same sort of thing, but darker, and add a little blue to it. So, a little more blue to it. So we're going to grab this, grab our base color. I'm going to also just put a touch of purple in it. All right. Then we can darken it down a little too. And this will help kind of sell a little bit of a shadow effect over top of the top side of it, of the iris. Okay, pretty simple, just little half moon shapes. Now I'm cleaning my airbrush out. All right, so now, if you guys recall on the other eye painting video, those that watched, but I'm just gonna go over everything again because you guys, a lot of you guys here tonight may not have seen that one. And so what I'm gonna do is kind of mix up a yellowy, kind of an orangey yellow tone, just to kind of help push the corners of the eyes a little more aged. To be a little more aged. So we're going to add a little yellow orange color here. I'm going to thin it with water and alcohol. So always thin with water first, then the alcohol. If you've watched these videos, you've heard me say that a million times. The ratios are just guess. I just guess it, you know. Just throw some water in, thin the paint out, and then a little alcohol. And you'll get to know your paints that you're using over time, and you'll know how much you can get away with and not get away with the alcohol. And anyway, so what I'm doing here is going into the corner of the eye and just punching in this little orange red, you know, right in that very, very corner. Ryan, how we doing? Hanging with us?
The good folks are definitely hanging tough here, Casey. They're got a lot of folks still actually growing, tuning in as we work the audio issues. People are still commenting, asking good questions that we're tallying up, and we'll be ready for that QA later on.
Yeah. So, yeah, just to let the new people that have just joined in, we've been having audio issues all night. Sorry about that, but the mic is going to go in and out. So I'm going to stop talking when it goes out. We're going to reset it, and I'll keep talking once it's back on. So just bear with us. Ryan, Sam is doing a good job of keeping us the audio working as best as we can. We don't know what the problem is. All right, so trash can appeared. Nice, thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. All right, so now I've got the corners of the eyes a little red in there, all that. I'm going to see if I have a little more of that Payne's Gray. Okay, so I'm going to take this Payne's Gray tone just by itself and thin it way out. This is FW Payne's Gray. Put some water in and put a little alcohol. And what I'm going to do with this really carefully is force the shadow under the eyelid hanging over the eye. But this is a very subtle, very, very subtle step. I'm going to put more alcohol. I want this really thin and washy so that not a lot of paint is coming out. I want it to be like a shade. And what I'm going to do is just naturally kind of shade and force that shadow. Okay, there we go. That helps to push that shadow a little bit better. Now I'm going to clean that color out. So water again, cleaning out my airbrush. Okay. Whoop. And okay, so now I think what I'm going to do is leave the eye there for a minute while I think about what I want to do more with, or how I want to go about that eye a little bit further. I'm not sure yet. Let me think on that. So while we do that, I'm going to go back to the teeth. And take our trusty brush again. This is just a ragged, cheap brush. I've got a color. Oh, it's the wrong color. Oh my god, I grabbed the wrong thing. All right, bear with me. I grabbed the wrong color, guys. Oh, it's Monday night.
Monday.
Everything goes wrong is going to go wrong. Okay, here we go. So what I've got is I've got contrast wildwood, and then I've got this Lamayan medium, and I'm going to take some of this contrast wildwood, a very dark, super dark brown, probably will look black on camera. Sorry, you need to get that. I'm sorry. So but it's brown. It's got some red in it. I'm gonna put just a little bit of this this in there. It's like a thinner. Keeps the paint from drying quickly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my brush and just start working some of this. And one of the things you can do as well is I should grab an extra brush for this. Hey, Sam, over there on my table, can you grab an extra brush about that size? You see any? Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Or even bigger, it's fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Perfect. So what I'm going to do actually is take some of this medium.
That was a nice pop.
What was that? Was that the audio?
Yeah, the paint.
Oh, damn.
Awesome pop noise.
All right, so I'm going to have two brushes on hand here. And one is going to be a blender. So you'll see I have some of the thinner on the one, and then I can kind of come in and thin the paint. So I can brush on paint on one side and then come in with a clean brush with thinner and just thin it out like that. And that'll give you a nice tooth dark shade or staining on the teeth. That looks really natural. There he goes. Now he's coming to life. Let's get these fangs in the corners here. Give them some shade. So I'm putting a little paint on the tooth and then just blending it out, basically, is what I'm doing. Is blending. You know, a little bit of shade, a little bit of blend, just so that it's not too overdone. And if we have to go back and add some highlights, we can do that. Now I'm going through this pretty quick. I mean, when I'm normally painting a mask, I won't, slam through this process as quickly. I just want to show you guys demonstration purposes, get through it, and show you the idea. You can take your time when you do this. Don't rush through it like this. It's not about how fast you go. It's about how nice you make it. I mean, I've spent hours just futzing with teeth before. Okay, so now I'm going to do the tusks. And again, you'll see I'm just going to how well that medium just blends the color. So you just need to put a little color, and then you can come in and blend it out. You know, so when you take a class, one of my paint classes, I go over all these techniques, but much slower, much more methodical. If you talk to anyone that's taking my classes, it's one of my most popular classes is the painting. We have a lot of fun. I've had hundreds, if not thousands of students at this point over the years. I've been teaching since 25 years now. So I don't even know how many students I've had through my classes, but quite a few. And I go over all these techniques live over an 8-hour day, and it's really, really fun. It's always fun to see students grow and learn new stuff. Heck, sometimes they're teaching me stuff. Sometimes I learn new things. But it's awesome. It's a good time. And I mentioned that because I have a class coming up soon. It's been 2.5 years due to COVID. Haven't had classes, so it's nice to get back to having a in-person class again. All right, so now, okay, the teeth are pretty well stained up. Now I'm going to come back with my base coat and just kind of highlight a little. And actually, I want to use the medium that I was talking about. It's a technical Citadel medium. I have barely any left, but it's like a milky liquid. This stuff's great for blending paint with brushwork. And there was a guy that asked a question last week. Did you get it? There's a guy that asked a question last week about just doing all brushwork. Can you just do a mask without airbrush? And that stuff would definitely be a lifesaver if you were just going to approach your mask with all. So you can see how it lightens up the teeth just a little bit there. So Ryan, if you want to let them know typing in for me, we're going to forego the artist share tonight because of the audio issues, but we will do questions.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I think it's just, otherwise it's going to be too much of Sam having to jump back and forth. All right, so I'm lightening up the tips of the teeth mainly just to get those to pop. You want those look sharp and pop out and look nice. And now I'm going to get the bottoms a little bit here. So I'm dipping from one cup to the other, from the medium to the paint, you know, so I can just blend it right away, right off the brush, and it's not going on too harsh. If I see it too harsh, I'll tap it with my finger like you just saw me do there. But it's just highlighting the teeth a little bit. So I'll spend a lot of time back and forth with teeth. Now, when you get this stage here, if you feel the highlights are too much, you can go back to your original stain color, which was the yellow sepia tone, and you can kind of just lightly brush that in as well. And that'll, stain the white parts you just did to be more yellow. If you want the teeth to look nastier or more aged, which would, let's see, where's that color at? So you could come back with this color here.
Which one is that?
This is the Seraphim Sepia. So you come back a little bit with this and just go like this, just carefully, and just kind of, add a little yellow age back in if you feel like you've gotten too carried away with the highlights. Alright, so we're just toning some of these highlights down a little. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with that for now. So, I think we've reached, we're at 7:15. So, what we're going to do is try to work our way through questions at this moment. We are going to skip the artist share for tonight just because of all the technical issues with the audio. Let's just get into Ryan questions, and what we'll do is take it slow so Sam can reset the mic when we need to hear what I'm saying, and we'll just go slow one at a time. Do we have a lot of questions?
I think tonight, Casey, we've got a pretty conservative amount, so it should work out pretty well.
Okay, good. All right. So let's. How do you want to do this, Sam? You cue me when we're ready.
Go right now.
Okay, go for it. What's the first one?
All right, folks. Let's see. Let's start with David Felchek.
All right, David. Thanks for the question.
All righty. David asks, "Hi, Casey. On the mask, how will you make the mouth and teeth look gradually wet?"
How do I make them look gradually wet? Well, in the end, I will seal them with like a slight gloss stain, which will be varnish, and basically, which actually we're going to talk about tonight towards the end of this stream. I'll show what I'm going to use. We won't use it yet because I got to seal the mask and I got to do that outside. But we'll talk about it. I'll show you what I use. That'll be even better. But that's how I would get the teeth to look wet or kind of have a wet sheen. One of the most important things, though, is when I do the teeth and I do the eyes, unless it's a monster that's totally slobbery, like where it's drooling, I won't do like epoxy on the teeth. I'll do varnish, and I'll do something with like a satin or a slight gloss, because when you look at the teeth, they're not really sloppy wet on a human being or a creature, unless they're drooling or something like that. So anyway, yeah, I use varnishes, and I'll show you what they are tonight. Definitely.
All right. We've got Matt Cable.
Matt, thank you for the question.
All right. Matt asks, Casey, have you ever used the sponge technique on a silicone head?
Let me think. No, I haven't, because back when I was painting, most of my silicone days were at Rick Baker's on Men in Black 3. That was the most silicone I had ever painted. It was pretty much one after another, along with masks. And I don't recall using a sponge on anything at that time. I don't think I was using a sponge that much at that point. I think the sponge technique definitely came into my repertoire later, like down the road. So I can't say yes, but it would work if that's what you're wondering. It would definitely work. You could sponge silicone. Just make sure you wash that sponge out before the silicone cures. But you could sponge it, and I don't know, if you're using what thinner you're using, maybe to try to. I would. Well, here's the thing. I would seal all your layers first, definitely, to protect it, because if you're going to use any kind of thinner, and I would thin out the paint and then try to sponge it. I would test it first, though, but it seems like to me there's a way to get it to work. So I think it just would take some trial and error.
All right, Casey, next question is from Jason.
Jason, thanks for the question.
All right, and that's Jason Gestinetti, and he asks, if you're making a mask to be wearable, do you cut it first, then paint, or do you paint it first and then cut it? Thank you.
If I'm making it to be wearable, I cut it first and then I paint it. I've done it where I cut it afterwards, but sometimes when you're going into the deep areas, it's I don't know, it's a little trickier. And here's the other thing. The thing is, if you do it first, you can try the mask on, make sure your vision holes are what you want them to be. If they're not, you can cut it a little more. I don't like to stress on the paint and stuff too much if I don't have to in those areas. I mean, certainly the mask, if you're going to wear it, needs to be pretty flexible. But I cut it first, then I paint the mask. That's how I like to do it. I know mask companies like Death Studios, I think he cuts after, if I remember. Some of them do. But yeah, I mean, if as long as your mask is super flexible, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, I like to do it first and try the mask and try it on and then see if everything's good and then cut it. So yeah. Thanks for the question.
Right. Rick asks, Casey, do you sell blanks of your work?
Well, pretty much usually no. I have done a few when it's weird. Like some of the masks I don't, because collectors are paying a lot of money to get pieces from me painted at extravagant prices. And I feel that if there's a bunch of them out there, a bunch of copies of a mask out there, kind of can diminish the worth of what they are, because each collector, if they're paying, say it's a $2,000, $3,000 mask, and let's say there's a whole bunch of blanks out there and people painting them, I don't know. It always just seems like, to protect the art, the value of the art, and keep the value high and what it's worth, I don't sell too many. But I have on certain designs that sometimes I'll take and sell if it's a lower end mask, or just I don't know, if I have a few copies laying around that are just seconds or something. Sometimes I have. I mean, it's rare though. It's rare that I do. Whereas model kits and resin pieces, I sell all the time, so you can get those. But every once in a while, keep an eye on my Facebook page. Sometimes I'll have a blank of something that I'm just let go of, And also the other reason I don't is, to keep recasters from recasting masks of mine. And wanting to put them, sell them on the back end. Or like the problem I'm having right now on eBay is someone has ripped off my my witch, my pumpkin witch is all over eBay, and I had to go on there and shut down all those people and try to shut them down, and they've bootlegged the heck out of it, and it's a shame because now that one wasn't recast. They tried to copy it digitally and then print it or whatever they did, but it's horrible. Please don't support that kind of thing. But yeah, it happens unfortunately, and so that's the other reason I don't. Okay, thank you, Magneto Creations, for the question.
Alrighty. Magneto asks, if you were working on a traditional green orc or goblin mask, what color would you base before going into a green? And what color would you sponge? Thanks again for the streams.
Well, if it's a green orc, I guess it depends on what kind of sculpt it is. If it's a retro style, then you could get away with a bright green thing and do a retro style, but I don't think that's what you're asking me. I think you're thinking more Lord of the Rings, I'm going to say, or something like that, more realistic fantasy. A lot of times when I have to do stuff like that, what I like to do is I'll pick a green that feels kind of natural, like a more earth tone based green with browns in it and stuff. I'll tend to shoot more earth tone just to keep it more natural, or gray tones or something. Sometimes can work, gray out the greens a little, like Frankenstein style. But what I'll do is I'll actually do the sponge technique with some flesh tones, but not in a way that it knocks the green away, but in a way that it introduces some flesh-like feel to it. And then it looks much more fleshy and natural. So definitely mixing, sponging and doing some of the airbrush layers with some skin tones on top of those greens, and then reintroducing different tones of that green as well, and then some blues, light blues over the veins, because you spray light blue over green, it's going to turn kind of like a vein color naturally. So things like that, and just model, and then some reds, reds, and when I do the reds, I put a little purple in them on top of green, because red and green fight each other. They don't like each other. They always look bad next to each other. It's hard to pull off. So I'll put a little purple into the reds and make them a little more violety, and that works better on the greens for like your red tones in your flesh, So there you go.
Ben Hernandez.
Ben, thank you for the question.
All right. Ben asks, if I used a 5-minute clear epoxy to seal the eyes on my mask, can I still make changes and still paint over that clear gloss epoxy?
So if he puts epoxy down and then wants to paint over it, well, yeah, you could. I mean, you could totally repaint the eye if you wanted to even. I wouldn't suggest, if he's asking like a protective layer of epoxy, no, I wouldn't do that. You don't want to build up too thick of a layer of epoxy on the eyes. Well, especially if it's a mask you're going to wear. If it's not something, if it's a display copy, then it doesn't matter how thick you build it up. But if you're asking me like to protect it and then paint more layers, no. I don't ever do that. I don't see a reason why to do that. Unless you are trying to build up like more of a three-dimensional look in the eye, like a blind cataract eye, and then you can mix a little color into the epoxy and put it in the center and build it out. And there's ways to do stuff like that. You have to know what you're doing, obviously, with making sure there's not too many air bubbles in the epoxy and whatnot. But it's not something I do. I pretty much paint the eyes, I seal with protective layers, and then I do my final 5-minute epoxy covering over the eye. That's pretty much always what I do. But okay, Matt, thanks for the question.
Alrighty, Matt asks, did you have to prime the Sculpey, or does the paint play nice with it?
I didn't have to prime it. The paint does go on fairly well, but you want to let the first coat layer dry really well before you do the rest. If you get paint coming off or moving on you on the surface, or basically coming off and revealing the clay underneath, if you brush through it maybe too hard, you might remove some paint down to the base. of the tooth. If you do, you could quickly seal those with varnish, matte varnish, just to protect your first base coat layer, and then you'll be fine from there on out. But if you're careful about it, and just gentle and let that first layer dry, and then carefully do your stains and let that dry, and then do your next layers, you're pretty good to go. You don't really need to do that. If but I suppose if like you had some dentures in there that were all coated with primer, you could just match them with primer if you wanted to do that. But yeah, I think they look more natural if you just paint over like that. Because like, the way I did the tusks is pretty much what I did on the teeth of the mask. Just lightly put layers over the existing material and then just build it out from there. And you can see how nice the tusks and the teeth now match. So.
Okay, next question is from Neil Leffler.
Neil, thanks for the question.
Neil asks, do you have a good technique to paint teeth to look translucent?
Well, I just did that right now. But if I wanted these teeth to be more translucent than what you just saw, which they aren't totally translucent anymore, I would have, I would have just painted instead of base coating what you saw me base coat the tusks. Instead of doing that, I would have just done the stains over top of that Sculpey, that translucent Sculpey, and then they would have been super translucent. So if you're looking for very translucent teeth, and I've done this on many things, is just to go ahead and stain over the teeth. Don't base coat them, don't primer them or anything, just stain right over them. Now the reason I didn't do that on this mask is because then the tusks would not match the teeth in the mouth. So in order for them to match each other, I had to base coat them and follow the same steps procedure I did on the teeth from the video last week. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I've done it before. Just stain, no base coat, and you'll have really nice translucent looking teeth. Simple as that.
All right, we've got the next question from Tim Corrigan, and Tim asks, let's see, he asks, Casey, you mentioned glazing last week. Glazing, can you elaborate on that technique?
Yes, Tim, thank you for the question. So glazing is a technique where I take, there's a material I use called matte gel, okay, and it's from Liquitex. And there's actually Golden makes some liquid versions called glaze in a bottle. Actually, they have a gloss and a matte glaze, and you can just buy that if you want. It's more liquidy though. I like the other stuff because it's very gel-like. And actually, Sam, can you grab that fly head? It's pretty heavy though. Sure. And so when I glaze into all the cracks and the details and then wipe it off the surface, you get everything left in there. But I mix it into the paint color. I'm going to show you something I did it on right now. This is Midway. This is a Midway paint job, and this is a piece I'm doing for Monster Palooza. Thanks, Sam. And if you look at the cracks, if they can see this, I don't know.
Let me see if I can get it.
Let's do this. So if you look like right here. So if you see these cracks, how dark purple, that was all glazed in, and then the surface was wiped off, and then I did all these layers over this. So anyhow, that's what it does for you, and you can get all the detail to come out of all the crevices. So there you go. I'm going to hand that off to my wife. Thank you, hon. But yeah, it's just a matte gel. You take your matte gel, you put your paint color in it, you mix them together, and then you start adding water to reduce the thickness, because if it's real thick and opaque, it'll go in pretty heavy. So you want to add some water to get it thinner, and then so I like to basically adjust it myself. But Golden Paints also makes glazes and gloss and matte, and they come ready to go. But I like to control it and mix it myself. All right. Next, any more questions, Ryan?
We do. We've got one last question.
Okay.
All right, Matt McNeil.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
All right, Matt asks, this is a great question. With skin tones, do you utilize the concept that are predictable color bands, i.e. colors that skew yellow across the forehead red across the center of the face, and or blue-green across the mouth and chin?
I don't know that I understand his question 100%.
Sure. Looks like he's asking if he's looks like he's talking about the color concept of with skin tones. He's asking, do you utilize the concept that there are predictable color bands? And
Oh,
was wondering
bands.
if you had sort of like a standard that you like to follow.
Oh, I see. I thought you said Vans. I heard you wrong. I was like, what's
Vans.
Vans? What's Vans color? Bands. Got it. Do I utilize that? No. Nah, I don't think so. Did you utilize that, hun? I can't talk tonight again. Did you utilize that, hun, doing makeup?
I don't know what the bands are.
Okay, we don't know. No. Sorry. No. No, I don't. I just paint and do what looks good to my eye, and I can't really elaborate on it because I don't know that concept or anything about what that is. I get it.
Predictable color zones.
Yeah. So where reds land, cheeks, right? Is that what he means?
Yeah.
Nose, lips. I get it. I mean, obviously I enhance those areas specifically with those specific colors, but I don't, I guess I don't think of it as a process like that. I just kind of just go at it and do what I do. So, but maybe in my conscience, I'm thinking, oh, this goes there, yellow goes there, this, that. But I try to, when I'm painting a mask, as you see, I kind of make sure that just to put the color everywhere, but in a specific way that looks good to the eye. And my goal is to make it look real, make it look like skin, make it look like it's alive. And so even if it is a little over enhanced in certain ways or theatrically slightly enhanced, because when we paint masks and special effects, we're used to slightly enhancing things to make the camera read them better. So that's my approach. That makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
There you go. All right.
Excellent, Casey. And respecting that it's been a rough night, just a nice comment that from Honor Maker that he says, took lots of Casey's classes, learned more from you than anyone else out there. So
thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, a lot of students do come away from the classes learning a lot. Okay, so I was saying, with the classes, the goal is for students to walk away with, more knowledge than they came with and learning. And if I haven't done that, then I haven't really done my job. So, the in-person classes gives you a lot more than even what you see here on the live streams. This is just demonstration stuff. So, in-person classes, I can help you in person and you get to see it live in front of you, right? So anyway, enough about that. I've talked about the classes. Let's talk really quick about our giveaway. Yay! We have a giveaway coming up, as if you hadn't heard this 100 times. But these are them, and yes, I'll be casting them very soon and getting going on them. And paint them all up, and we're going to do 10 sets giveaway when we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, which we're getting close. We're getting there. We're moving up. So each week, and if that's how you guys can help us out by subscribing, liking what we're doing, even if the audio is going in and out and sucking on us tonight, sorry, but we will be giving 10 sets fully painted away to 10 lucky subscribers. So just wanted to remind you guys of that. Good. Alrighty. Where are we at? Let's see. What kind of time do we have to play with? We have a little bit of time. We got about 20 minutes to go, right?
Yep.
So for those next 20 minutes, I'm going to focus on this eyeball a little bit more. And especially since we have the audio in and out situation, we will do our best with that all the way to the end. And I will just keep painting for you guys, and you guys keep watching. Sound good? Cool. All right. So, and apologies, we can't do the artist share tonight. It's just with the microphone issue, too many problems. We'll do it next week, I promise. I have someone in mind for it. It'll be great. Okay. So, eyes. Well, eye. Because we only have one, which is good. That's why I like Cyclopses. That's why I sculpt so many Cyclopses. Then you don't have to paint two eyes. You just paint one eye. See? Magic. All right, where are we at? So, I think what I'll do is go in and put a little bit of, you know what? I will need this. Spoke too soon. Let me clean this. I'm not gonna bother with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in. Let me grab my original eye colors here because I can use those. And we're gonna use this thinning medium again. This is really good.
Is that the soda one?
Yeah, this is the technical. Oh, nice. Okay, thank you.
Oh, palette swap.
Palette swap. All right, so let's see here. What do we got? I'm just gonna put some colors down, and I'll blend them as I go. I think the lesson I've learned tonight about YouTube videos is always have an extra mic around. Sad part is we do have a mic, it just doesn't have the right cable hookup. So
That's what we do at work. For every piece of hardware you see, there's always a backup.
yep, that's what I'm learning. We need backups. Backup plan. So I'm going to mix a little bit of this thinner in to the paint. Makes it nice and silky. Blends easier. All that good stuff. Now, I think I showed you guys this crazy micro brush last time. So I'm going to be using that again. And just kind of start painting some crazy, veiny things again. You guys, for those of you that did sit for our eye demo video a few weeks back, you'll remember all this crazy, detaily, painty stuff here like this. All these veins. Can you grab me my micro glasses? They're like the head ones. They're down there. They're not those. They're sorry. Yeah, I should have told you. Thank you. Okay, so I have these crazy like, optic overdrive visual glasses. So I need to take off my reading glasses here and I can. Oh gosh, there we go. Science nerd alert. This just lets me be able to really get close and see what the heck I'm doing because okay, I don't know why this popped in my head just now. This is such a weird, random thought. This is just what goes through my head while I'm painting, I guess. What was that character from McDonald's commercials? Grimace?
Grimace, yeah.
I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it just did. I have no clue. Like what caused that?
You know, I know Grimace and I know the Hamburglar. I can't remember the name of the girl, like the little chicken girl. What was her name?
And she came later, right?
Yeah,
she wasn't one of the OGs, right?
I don't think
Was
so.
that Birdie? Maybe Birdie? Was that her name?
Birdie. I don't know why did Grimace pop in my head. That was weird. That was like one of those childhood memories. Like, just I don't know why.
Just unlocked it.
Holy moly! Look how blue the eye looks on the screen, the TV, but like it's not even close to that blue in person. So just so they know, Ryan, tell them that it's very gray, icy gray color in real life. If you want to.
Oh, you know what? It's coming out as icy gray on the camera. I think it's just the color on the TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pumpkin is super, super orange. Yeah, that book.
Oh, I gotta adjust my TV. Is my head orange? Oh my god.
I think it'd be the saturation.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is painting a darker blue tone into the highlight color. Right? Because that's the opposite of what's going on up top. So even though we have that highlight in the eye and all that, I'm just still gonna paint the opposite. Up top I was doing the light colors, and then I'll blend them together. But down below I'm doing dark over light.
Casey, do you remember that show? I think Dick Smith did the effects for it, if I'm not mistaken. It was, I think, in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. It was just called Monsters.
Yes. I remember.
They had that intro. What was so awesome about it, I remember, being fascinated with it, was that I think it was a family of Cyclops.
You're right. It was. Right? I do remember that. I thought you were going to say Land of the Lost. Until you said Dick Smith. I was like, no, that's not it. Land of the Lost. I can't sing that. All right. Anyway. Painty. So there you go. So now I've got all these layers. Let's lighten up a little bit. Let's go lighter. Start to blend the two together. I can't tell you guys how awesome this medium is. I gotta go. Oh my god, I just dumped out too much. Okay. Well, anyway, I gotta go get more of this stuff. It's like liquid gold. Just flows right off the brush, man. It's amazing. Especially if you're painting with this tiny brush, which is cray thin. Cray thin. That's what it shouldn't even say 100 0. It should say cray thin. I already know what my wife is thinking right now about this show tonight, and I'm going to share it with you guys. My wife is thinking, if I read her thoughts with my nerd glasses on, she's thinking, what an idiot he looks like right now. But more importantly, what my wife is probably thinking right now is, what a shit show this is tonight.
No.
Yes!
No.
Oh, I was going to agree with you. No, we can't help it. The audio, thank God we have Sam, because this guy's been, how many times he's unplugged and plugged the microphone back in for you guys just so you can hear me babble is like, I don't even know how many times. We should actually figure out how many times you did that. It's a record. We're so sorry, guys. We're doing the best that we can, and luckily Sam is on top of it. Otherwise, this would be a shit show.
So right. Every time we have a technical difficulty, I have a million ideas of how to fix it. It's just
Yeah, we learned.
stuff just happens to not be here in front of me. If it was, man, heartbeat.
Yeah, we'll learn from it. That's the thing. And you know, looking at the positive, I have to tell you guys, you know, that's how you get better at monster stuff. Just try and make mistakes and learn. So we're making mistakes on YouTube and learning. So much is what it is. So what
There you go. I agree with Kevin Young. Bright side. It's all good. We still have video.
There you go, man. Thank you, Kevin Young. Yes, sir. That's right. The bright side. And for those of you that are just tuning in to this week for the first time, this is not normally how the show goes.
Nope.
We've had no issues with audio until this one. Oh wait, we had one minor issue, but we solved that. And then, you know, this is a major one.
That was like the first episode. First 5 minutes.
Ay.
Like, they can't hear me. Oh, duh.
Yeah. I think what it is my mic took a dump right on our live stream. Also, lesson learned, do not buy a cheap microphone through Amazon and do YouTube.
Is that where that thing came from?
Yeah. And it wasn't even, oh, see now. Sam's laughing at me.
No,
but it wasn't even like the cheapest. You know, I didn't like go for like the 1999 model. I went for like, you know, it's like 40, 50 bucks or 30 bucks or something like that. But yeah, there you go. I see a Shure microphone in our future. Those sound better too, right? They sound so much better.
I was going to say, I laugh, but to be fair, I am kind of a mark for high-priced hardware. So there are a lot of people who tend to buy cheaper stuff who look at me, and they laugh at me because they're like, you're paying way too much, dude. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, but now you can go, yeah, check out this live stream we did with a cheap microphone. And then tell me, no.
Right, your results may vary.
Yeah, big time.
Dear Amazon.
Yeah, dear Amazon.
We are going to sue those school bus drivers, the principal, the manufacturer.
Dear Amazon, you're only good for buying comic books. No.
There you go, Chris Dawson, another bright side. Remember this, there are countless people making YouTube content with perfect gear that have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
You just get to buy a new toy.
Yeah, I like it. I like that you know, everybody supporting us is giving us these great positive outlooks, making me feel better. I was feeling pretty bad.
You got to remember though, Casey, too. Whenever, even on any challenging night, right? Is A, character building, but B, the fact that you know, we've all at one point, a lot of us watching even right now have paid probably a pretty penny for a tutorial or you know, an online class or a subscription service. And there's really some great stuff out there, but some of it can get very expensive. And really, that same type of instruction and the interactivity and the ability to ask questions. I mean, I know personally, as a student forever, you know, I've paid hundreds of dollars sometimes to do that. You know, to actually interact and to actually ask some questions, get some feedback, and see, let's say, like a mask sculpt process all the way through. You know, not long ago, that used to be extremely expensive to do, and you're offering it pretty much every Monday night.
That's good to think about. Yes, you're right. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're getting real close to the end. We actually survived this stream together, and we appreciate you guys so much for hanging in there with us. I'm going like crazy, ridiculous detail for you on this eye. Hopefully you guys can see all this. All right, so as I was saying, hopefully you can see all this, what I'm doing here. I'm just doing some crazy stuff. We're going to throw a couple more colors in. Well, this is actually a Payne's Gray. It's almost black. Yeah, almost. And let me get some of my... So what I'm doing is going in and hitting some of the darks, like little spots of dark. And I'm even going to drag a little bit of this out of the pupil. This is just the Payne's Gray. I think everyone gets a kick out of seeing the eyes come to life. Okay, so just to wrap this up, let me throw in a few little other colors. I'll still have to throw veins in and all that. But I want to talk real quick. Well, I want to just show a couple things before we end the stream. But okay, so what I did last time is I threw in some other warm colors into the blue. I'm going to grab a little brown, red here, a little yellowy, yellow, things like that. And if you recall, I was saying when you look at like eyes, human eyes, you'll see sometimes there's like a little bits of color hits in there in places. So we want to pop some of those in. It's a little bit of like a little yellowy sort of thing. It's real subtle, just little bits here and there. There's like a warm red. So if you look at eyes up real closely, you'll see what I'm talking about. Pop this yellow a little bit more. All right, so now I just have some brown, a little bit of brown, dark brown here from the teeth stain. And I'll just work this kind of coming out of the black pupil area a little bit. There we go. That's better. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so obviously the other thing is the kind of corners of the eyes. You want to come in with some veins and things. I'll just do a couple real quick because we're running out of time tonight. But just you know, to illustrate that process. You know, and I'll keep darkening the corner of that eye a little with a little bit darker color as I go. But just to kind of illustrate some of the veins here, you'll get the idea. Just do a couple for now. They're very, very subtle. I will usually pop in a brighter red one with some brighter red over top of one of the darker ones, just so I can make one or two of them really punchy. But, you know, that's kind of the idea there. And then last but not least, I get to take my nerd glasses off. Let me grab a couple varnishes. I'll show you real quick. Now, when I would seal a mask like this, after I'm done with it, I would airbrush seal it. I would seal the whole thing. And typically, I would do a mix of, well, this is a matte varnish, Liquitex matte varnish, but I would usually mix a little bit of gloss into this, just a touch. So this is what I use to seal the mask with an airbrush, like I was saying, and I would usually mix a little bit of gloss into the matte. You can even do 50-50 if you want like a satin sheen, but I'll use that. When that's dry, everything's dry, I'll usually take Krylon doling spray, which I don't have in front of me right now, but it's actually called doling spray, and I heard that they may be stopping making it. I don't know. But if they are, that sucks because I use it on every mask. And I just do a light doling spray. It's not a permanent seal. It's not like crystal clear. You don't want that. Crystal clear has yellow in it. It can yellow over time and make the mask yellow a little bit. So the varnishes are great. And then what a guy was asking earlier, I forget who it was, they were asking about the teeth. And they make this high gloss, which is really good. And this high gloss varnish, you can, after you've sealed your mask up with your other varnish, you can go back over it. Even the dulling spray, you can go right over it with this with a brush and make all these teeth nice and shiny and have a sheen to them, and the lip and the nostrils and the inner ears and stuff. You can kind of brush that on and make things look wet. And then we were talking about earlier the glazing medium. This is not for sealing, so don't want to confuse you guys. This has nothing to do with sealing. But this is the matte gel that I use for making a glaze, and you can see how thick it is. It's really thick and pasty. It's actually not pasty, it's silky, but it's thick. So I mix it with color. You can mix it with, you know, acrylics, and then you thin it with water. So that's how I make glazes. All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap us up for tonight. I just want to apologize. We are sorry that the stream had so much trouble with the audio. We will fix that for next week. We will not have that issue again. And I will be at Monsterpalooza Friday night. If you guys want to catch me there, say hi. We're going to show some stuff in the display area, the museum. And I want to thank Sam will be there too. My family will be there. You can come bug us. And I wanted to just thank you guys, every one of you guys, for sticking around tonight dealing with the audio issues. We apologize. There's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. You heard all the bright side comments from everybody. We appreciate that. Keeps us uplifting and going forward. Definitely helped me out. I tried to pack as much in tonight for you guys on this, finish it up. He's pretty much done. I'm going to tweak a few little things here and there, add more veins in the eyes, do a few things, seal. Pretty much it. You know, he's pretty much done. I've been happy with him. Hopefully he won't eat all my breakfast tomorrow. Nah, he doesn't like protein shakes. All right, so that's it. What else am I forgetting? Oh, you can catch us on Monday Night Monster Jam on YouTube every Monday night, 6 p.m. Western, 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can catch us Monday Night Monster Jam on Facebook. You can catch me on my Instagram, caseylove designs. I have a paint Instagram, caseylovepaintworks, if you'd like to check out my statue collectible work. And you can catch us where? Going in and out of audio all night long.
Your
All
actual Facebook, Casey Love.
Oh, my actual Facebook, Casey Love. Thank you.
And also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video.
Yes, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and more importantly, check out all of our other content because we have a bunch of videos up now. We're super stoked about that, and we got more coming at you next time.
We are going to upload a clean cut of this video too, with
Yes.
the chat included. I'm going to see if I can't get that in there as well. So.
Yeah, so look for that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. Help us out. We'll grow this channel together. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.